What is up, my friend? Welcome to episode 93 of the Anthony John Amics podcast. This is another Sunday sermon edition, and recently I have been preparing for my cousin's wedding, and he asked me to officiate his wedding. And many people don't really know this, but I officiated my sister's wedding, and I've also officiated my grandmother's funeral. And I love doing it. I do my best to really just try to capture the spirit of the people when I really officiate that type of event. And during this process, I was reminded of a Bible verse, and upon reading it, I understood it in a very different light. And I thought to myself, man, if more people truly understood this, if I would have understood this sooner, our relationships would be on a completely different level of connection in an amazing, incredible way. So if you're an entrepreneur and you want to have the best relationship with your spouse, your family, and friends possible, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Anthony John Amics podcast, the one and only podcast designed to help you become unstoppable in life and business. My name is Anthony John Amics. My friends call me AJ, and my goal with this podcast is to help you remember who you truly are so you can maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. That being said, let's get into today's show.
All right, welcome back. Now, before we hop into this Sunday sermon edition, I want to let you know that every single week I set aside an hour to talk with established experts who are packaging up their knowledge and building a personal brand and being handsomely compensated for their expertise, but find themselves either stuck or stalled out when it comes to growing their business and fully stepping into their potential in all aspects of their lives. So if you're at a place where you want to figure out your blind spots, you want to embrace your true value and really unlock your highest potential in life and business, let's talk. Simply go to talkwithaj.com to grab a time that works for you. And on that call, we'll figure out where you're at, where you want to go, discover what's holding you back, and help you create a game plan to break through to that next level of success in your life and business. Again, simply go to talkwithaj.com if you're an expert who feels stuck or stalled out, and I'll help you craft a game plan to gaining massive momentum and getting you to your next level. Now, let's get into today's Sunday sermon. I took the majority of last Sunday to go sit in this little coffee shop in Addison, Texas, and work on the flow and the script for my cousin's wedding. He's getting married on November 1st, and he asked me to officiate his wedding, and I really asked if I could just make sure that the ceremony captures the spirit of him and his soon-to-be wife. And I was pumped about this. So I took half a day to sit in the coffee shop, get online, and just start researching various poems and different flows and traditions until I just kind of start getting a feel of how I want things to fall into place. And one of the things he asked me to incorporate was some scripture from the Bible. And since it's a wedding, of course, I needed a verse or two about love, and 1 Corinthians 13 came to mind. And it's a pretty traditional verse for most marriage ceremonies. But after spending the past 5 years in the fire of my own relationship with my wife and leveling up and diving into my own shadows about love and what it means and what it looks like and all of the parts of me that I haven't loved about myself, and stepping into the projections of my wife and looking at them objectively and choosing to not take them personally, I've learned a lot about the game of relationships. A lot. One that has really unlocked a level of connection and communication with my wife that is like a dream come true. But there was a price to be paid for that level of connection between my wife and I. And in 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 8, it says, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails." Now, most people hear this, and I believe that they take it at face value, like it's a pleasantry of some sort, love is kind, love is patient. Yeah, I get it. Love's awesome, right? And I think that's what most people think when they hear the verse. And as a result, I don't believe many people actually understand the depths of wisdom the scripture holds for them about understanding how to create an amazing relationship. A relationship in which the vast majority of humanity would envy. You see, back in the day, I thought love was a feeling you felt or you didn't feel, like it was a spark that either existed or it didn't. And if the spark existed, then it could be nurtured. And for as long as the spark of love was nurtured, it would then grow and endure. I didn't understand love transcends feelings. I didn't understand that love is a spiritual bond. I didn't understand that love simply just is. And after coaching hundreds of people and training thousands more, I've learned most people don't really understand love. Like, they don't. And it's not their fault. I mean, the church didn't teach them what love truly is. Their parents didn't teach them. Society didn't teach them. See, most people, when they get really honest, they look at love as a conditional thing. Meaning, if you do this, then I'll do that. If you show up this way, then I'll show up that way. And I will say, for the vast majority of humanity, love is conditional. They choose to give and receive love based on conditions. And I'll have you consider this one insight. This one concept can transform all of your relationships and your ability to guide and to lead people into closer connection. See, the type of love that Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians, it's not conditional love. It's unconditional love, meaning the giving and the receiving of love is not conditional. Instead, it simply is. So when he says in verse 4, love is patient, love is kind, it simply is. When he says it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. And let me tell you why this is important. See, most people believe love is conditional, and so when their unspoken or their spoken conditions within the relationship are not met, conflict occurs. And when the conflict occurs, many people take it personal, and then they refuse to not give or receive or embody love. And then when this happens, people start to project on one another. And this is what happens when most people are in conflict and they're arguing with one another. Now, if they would take on what Paul is saying here in the heat of conflict, they would choose unconditional love and sit in the pocket. They would get curious about what need does the other person have that's not being met. And then they would ask empowering questions to see how to create, and is it even possible to create, a win-win situation for both parties involved. But that's not what most people in relationships do. Instead, in the heat of conflict, they dishonor one another. They embody and express anger because they have a desire for how they want things to be different from how they are currently. And many people do keep a running list of the wrongdoings. Now, Paul goes on to say in verse 6, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Most people don't like the truth because the truth illuminates the things they haven't healed or loved about themselves yet. See, most people don't like the truth because it would mean they get to observe what the conflict means about themselves. And in verse 7 and 8 it says, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So what's the lesson here? Like, what is the relationship advice for entrepreneurs here? The lesson here is if you understand and choose to fully embody unconditional love, then when you're in conflict with another human, you will come to realize love truly does endure. Like, you'll find ways to deepen your connection with those that you care about. Like when your partner or employees aren't doing things as fast as you want them to be or the way that you want them to be, you can choose to remember that love is patient, love is kind. When you are arguing with your spouse or a family member or a business partner, you can remember love does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. So there's no point in wasting time attempting to prove or justify why your way is the only way, or your perspective should be the way that everybody should see. And you can remember the next time you find yourself entering into an argument, love does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Or the next time someone brings you a hard truth, you can remember, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. And so instead of wasting time justifying your actions or proving why you did or didn't do something, you can choose to rejoice in the truth that you're being offered. And finally, you can live in such a way that simply who you are as a human being protects, trusts, hopes, and perseveres. And so you can realize that you truly can never fail. So my invitation to you this day is this. How can you choose to embody unconditional love within your relationships? And how may by doing so actually allow you to lead and create incredible relationships? And to wrap this up here, let me be clear. Unconditional love doesn't mean you sit there like a bump on a log and take everything on the chin. That is not unconditional love. That's apathy. Unconditional love is taking the time and creating the space for both parties to be seen and heard and find a way to create a win-win if possible. And if a win-win cannot be created, then you get to exit the relationship and explore a way to do so in a way that's not coming from this place of dishonoring another person. Like there is a middle ground to this game. One where you can fully stand in unconditional love, stay unattached to an outcome while still caring deeply for the people involved and leading yourself to what is a genuine win for you. Understanding how to fully embody and lead from a place of unconditional love will change the game for you and allow you to break through to incredible levels of freedom, purpose, and success in every area of your life. Now, I'm not saying I have this whole unconditional love thing mastered yet, because I don't. Yet I've come a long way in learning how to embody it to the best of my ability thus far, and I can tell you it's transformed my entire life from the inside out. So my friend, that's going to do it for this episode of the Anthony John Amos podcast. If this inspired you in some way, I'd love to hear about it. Simply take a screenshot of you listening to the show on your device, post it over to your Instagram stories, and tag me at AJ Amix. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Until next time, my friend, I'm out. Peace.
Well, that's all I've got for this episode of the Anthony John Amix podcast, but we have plenty more to help you become unstoppable in life and business. So head on over to ajamix.com for exclusive resources, information, and tools to help you break through to a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Bye for now.